Hi guys, welcome and welcome back. Today we are doing something super fun. We are doing a mid-year book tag. I'm updating you on how I am on my reading goal, what books I've read, my favorites, stuff like that. So I'm hoping to start doing this every year, but we'll see how it goes. And I've read about 50 books right now, and I read like 120 books last year. But I'm only at 50, and that was my goal, so my goal is now like 80. So now actually getting into the questions is the best book I've read so far in 2026, and this is a super easy answer. You've probably heard me talk about this so much. I've literally done a giveaway on it, and that book is Shadow Reaper by Lynette Noni. This is a dark fantasy. I'll go ahead and read you the back so you can get what I'm talking about. The city of Aravel is in peril, plagued by a deadly black mist that kills all it touches, and reapers who roam the streets, stealing magic from innocent children in their thirst for power. 17-year-old Vera de Solis has trained for years to hunt these reapers, but their ranks keep growing, led by the man who murdered her parents, the Reaper Priest. When the priest's most loyal follower, Reeve Ashton, is captured, he offers Veri a chance to avenge her parents for a price. She knows better than to bargain with a Reaper, let alone this Reaper, but his offer is too good to resist. Soon, she's breaking him out of prison, colluding with his crew of magical thieves, and following him deep into the Black Mist Forest in search of an ancient legend, all so they can stop the Reaper Priest's plot to doom the city. Veri is staking her life on Reeve's plan, but how can she trust a silver-tongued criminal to keep his word? And how can she trust her own heart when a buried secret could shatter everything? And there's found families, guys, and so some of the tropes is found family, enemies to lovers, that type of thing. Absolutely loved this book. This was actually my only 6-star this year, so it is definitely my favorite book so far this year. The next question: what is the worst book you've read so far in 2026? I'll also put all these questions in the description down below if you want to try to do this video as well. But the worst book I've read so far in 2026, this is not at all being rude or anything. This is just like lowest rated, least interesting book, in my opinion, that I read this year, and that would be a indie published book called Boo and Patch, A Tale of Hope. A indie author reached out to me to send me this, and I do think I got an earlier copy, but there was so much grammar mess ups and just like there was no emotional attachment to the characters. It was very much for elementary or even younger than that readers, like a read aloud for them. But as someone who mostly reads and stuff like that, was just too young for me, nowhere near enough emotional connection for my taste. And then the best sequel I've read so far in 2026, and that is most definitely The Dragon's Promise by Elizabeth Lim. This is the second book in the Six Crimson Cranes duology, and this series is literally so good. There's actually some hate around The Dragon's Promise because everyone is saying it is terrible compared to the first book, but I personally still think it is amazing and I love it. And basically this book follows, well, a girl after the Six Crimson Cranes book, but in Six Crimson Cranes, basically, so Shiri is a princess in Korean or Chinese or Japanese, something like that. I'm not exactly sure which culture this was. And she figures out her stepmother is evil, and so she goes to tell her brothers. Her brothers don't believe her, but then her stepmother curses her brothers into being cranes. And if Shuri speaks a word, like anything at all, then every word she speaks, one of her brothers will die. So she has to try to break this curse without saying a single word. And this follows her as she's trying to do that. And it's really good. I really like it. There also is a animal sidekick. It's like a little paper bird that she made come alive. And it's literally so cute. I loved this book so much, and that was a 5-star as well. Now, the worst sequel I've read so far in 2026 is probably The Chronicles of Weatherwhy, The Season of Flames, which is just because it's just the lowest rated sequel that I've read. I have been reading a lot of first books or third or fourth books in series, but not just a lot of like second books. So this is just the lowest rated second book I've read, and especially compared to the first one in this series, this one just wasn't as good, but I still enjoyed it and read it really quick. But this was just my least favorite one. And this follows 2 kids as they are being chased around this magical kingdom because they have something the queen wants, and they're having to figure out all the mysteries surrounding this kid. I forgot his name, Leo, which is one of the kids, and they're trying to figure out all this mystery behind his mom disappearing. She died. Did she disappear? What happened? He grew up in a circus, and there's all these mysteries, and they're trying to figure them out. They're getting chased, all that. but I ended up only rating that a 3-star, I believe. Now, a new release I haven't read yet, but I really want to, is Just Friends by Haley Pham. So I know she's now writing her second book right now, but I really want to get to reading Just Friends. But I keep forgetting every time I go to buy a book, I keep forgetting it exists, so I keep forgetting to buy it. And at the same time, I feel like I should just, at this point, just listen to the audiobook instead of buying it, because I can probably find the audiobook free somewhere, but at the same time, I want to have it physically. So then the most anticipated release for the second half of the year is For Sure to Dream in Darkness by Anne Liang. Oh my goodness. So the first fantasy book that Anne Liang wrote, she's mostly a YA rom-com writer, academic rivals rom-com type thing. But she has written one book before that is a fantasy, and that is A Song to Drown Rivers, which is one of my top books of all time. It is a 6-star of mine. I was bawling. I loved it so much. And so I'm really excited about her next fantasy, To Dream in Darkness, which is, I'm not sure, I think it's like Beth makes a deal with the god of healing or something. I'm not exactly sure. It looks really interesting. There's some mythology, all that. I'm very excited about that. And then the next question is the biggest surprise of the year. And I have to say that is absolutely adoring Fahrenheit 451, because I usually do not at all literary fiction, anything like that. But surprisingly, I absolutely love this book. I literally listened to it in one morning. I had the audiobook and I listened to it in one morning. It was so good. This was a 5-star, and this basically follows a guy named Guy. And he is a firefighter. And in this futuristic world, firefighters burn the houses that contain books because books are now illegal. And then he ends up taking a book home one time, and it's just like, whoa, why are they burning these? He ends up actually finding the Bible at one point. And that's basically all I can really say without spoiling anything, but it was really good, and I rated it 5 stars. Then my favorite new author, it can be a debut or just new to me. That's what the question says. And that's for sure going to be Ellie Blake, the author of Frostblood. And I have never heard of this book or read anything by this author before now. I just actually read this last month, and it was so good. I absolutely loved it. This follows 2 magical races, the Frostbloods and the Firebloods, and they have always been at war, but in this country specifically, all of the Firebloods have been killed by the Frostbloods, and this girl named Ruby, she is a Fireblood. She's been hiding in this village her whole life, and her mom has been hiding her there, but she ends up getting found out. Her mom ends up dying, but then she ends up beginning to train to kill the Fireblood King, and she ends up going to court at one time. She ends up in some trials. It was absolutely so good. It did slightly remind me of like Queen or Powerless, but also at the same time not enough where I'm like, oh, this is weird, I don't like this. In the type of stuff where I'm like, oh, I really like this because of this. So that is Frostblood by Ellie Blake. And Ellie Blake is my favorite new author I have discovered for sure. Oh my goodness, I'm talking so fast, I need to slow down. Now, the next question is the newest fictional crush. And I do have to say, this is going to be Reeve from Shadow Reaper, because, I don't know, I can't really say anything about it, but he is a Reaper, but there's a lot that's not as it seems with him, and he was just cute and so wholesome, and that is, the choice is Reeve from Shadow Reaper. And then the next question is a book that made you cry. And surprisingly enough, I haven't been crying to a lot of books, but I also think that's because I haven't been finishing fantasy series. That's usually when it's sad or something like that, or I've been avoiding sad books, so I haven't really cried to many this year. But I do think I cried to this one. I'm not exactly sure. I'm pretty sure I cried to this one. And this is the last book in the Fifth Wave trilogy. This is The Last Star by Rick Yancey. And the Fifth Wave is an apocalyptic, aliens taking over the world. Everyone's turning on each other. They can't tell who's an alien, who's not. And it follows this girl, Cassie, as she is trying to get her brother back from this military camp where they're training children to fight the aliens. And it's really good and really enjoyable. I really liked it. Every book in this series was 5 stars. I think besides the second one, it's a trilogy. The second one was a 4-star, the rest were 5 stars. But I really like that. And then a book that made me happy was for sure this arc that I got, and this is Behind Five Willows by June Her. And this follows a reader and a writer who secretly fight against government book banning and find themselves irresistibly drawn together. So basically all these books are being banned, and this dude is secretly writing them and having this girl does not know it's a guy, but they're just working through this bookstore to do this, and she is copying these books by hand so that they can get out to other people. And he is a favorite author, but she thinks that he is a girl because she's like, no one could write this good that is a dude, because only girls have those type of experiences and stuff like that. But and then they slowly end up figuring out who's who, and they end up having to begrudgingly spend time together because the girl's sister and the guy's best friend, who are from really far away classes, like the girl's sister they are like low class, and then the dude's friend is like really up there in class, and they are boarding, and so they have to be chaperones. And it was just so good, really entertaining. I really loved it. The cover is also really cute, and it was really fun. I really liked that. And then the most beautiful book I've bought so far this year, or received, is most definitely going to be A Forgery of Fate by Elizabeth Lim. Look at that. It's literally embossed, and it's so pretty. And then A Girl Who Paints the Future, A Cursed Dragon Lord, Bound by Love and Deception, They Will Bring Down the Gods. Literally so good. And then The Gold Edges. I haven't actually read this book yet. I'm actually in the middle of it, but I'm trying to catch up on some book mail first. But it's literally so good so far, and it's so pretty. So that is most definitely the prettiest book I've read. The prettiest book I've bought or received this year. Now, some books I need to read before the end of the year is I really want to finish The Forgery of Fate, and then I also want to read To Dream in Darkness, as well as I really, really want to read The Squad Duology by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which I also don't know why I haven't bought yet, probably because I'm trying to save money, but I am really looking forward to reading that one. Cheerleader Spy Squad reminds me of Barbie Spy Squad, and I really want to read that. So that is basically all of the books that I'm really wanting to read before the end of the year, and the rest of the books I want to read before the end of the year I'm in the middle of reading. But yeah, that's basically it. But thank you so much for watching my mid-year book tag, and this was absolutely so much fun to make. So I would love to see y'all try to remake this video. The questions are in the description below, and thank you guys again so much for watching. Subscribe, comment some of your answers to these questions, and I'll see y'all in the next one.